published December 16th in the Star Ledger, which is the official newspaper of the Township of Springfield for 2022, and posted in the Annex building on December 17th, 2021. Let's do a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Perfect. All right. Let's do a quick roll call. Ms. Law?
Sure. Mayor Alexander Kaiser.
Present.
Committeeman Rich Hubert is absent. Mr. David Barnett.
Here.
Mr. Andrew Schwartz is absent. Mr. Aaron Laufer.
Here.
Mr. Brian Brendel.
Here.
Ms. Marissa Ruggiero is absent. Mr. Scott Wishna.
Here.
Vice Chair Sharon Kessel.
Here.
And Chairman Jeff Tiger.
Yep, here. Perfect. Okay, so meeting minutes of February 2022. I know that everyone had a chance to review them on the Google Drive. Any questions or concerns? Seeing that none, can I have a motion to approve the February 2022 meeting minutes?
Mr. Chairman, make a motion to approve the February 22 minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain?
I
Nope.
abstain.
Okay, Mr. Wishman
Missed the
abstained.
meeting.
Okay. You weren't there, Scott? Oh, yes, it was your anniversary. That's right. It was your anniversary. Good. Okay, resolution. We had a Nissan World appeared before us last week. It was Nissan World 7-2021S. This was for final and preliminary site plan, conditional use and vehicle storage. If the board remembers, they had an application prior to us for a building. They since then have decided not to put up the building, but they have some buildings that are up that need to be taken down. The board was very, very pointed that the building had to be down within 90 days of adoption of this resolution. So the only thing I would like a motion to approve the resolution as it is on the Google Drive, with also the condition that our board attorney or Mr. Disco send them a letter with a copy of said resolution reminding them of the condition of 90 days.
So moved with the reminder.
Anyone say?
Second.
Okay, can we have a roll call?
Mr. Barnett.
Yes.
Vice Chair Kessel.
Yes.
Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Mr. Laufer.
Yes.
Mr. Brendel.
Yes.
And Chairman Tiger.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Yes. So Mr. Disco or Mr. Keynes, please work together to figure out who sends that the building 90 days from today needs to come down. We have two site plan waivers that we'll be discussing tonight. The first one is T-Mobile Northeast LLC waiver, 118 Victory Road, block 3101, lot 9. Apu, if you don't mind bringing them in to the meeting. This is for a site plan waiver, typically pursuant to state standards. They have the ability to get a waiver that they don't have to go for a full site plan, because they're just taking down some existing equipment and upgrading to new equipment. But I will turn it over to, I believe, Mr. Farrar for the introduction.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Good evening, everybody. Frank Ferraro, on behalf of the applicant, T-Mobile Northeast LLC. As you indicated, this is an upgrade of an existing facility at 161 Springfield Avenue, block 301, lot 9. T-Mobile currently has 9 antennas on the existing monopole. They're installed at a height of 122 feet. And they also have a few equipment cabinets on the ground. In this application, they're swapping out 6 of the existing antennas for 6 new ones on the existing platform. And on the ground, they'll be swapping out 2 existing equipment cabinets for 2 smaller equipment cabinets within the existing lease area. There'll be no impact on the height of the tower, the width of the tower. There'll be no excavation or deployment outside the existing ground space area. We'll have under 4 equipment cabinets after the upgrade, and really it's just a swap out of equipment. There'll be the same 9 antennas there after the upgrade as there was. So for those reasons, we would ask the board for a waiver of site plan and also a waiver of the requirement for approval resolution.
Mr. Disco, does this meet all the terms that you feel is out there from the state?
Yes. I take no exception to the waiver.
Okay. I understand that there's some issues with some antennas that were potentially removed that were the township. I know that from what I understand, and if you can stipulate, Ms. Ferraro, that you're going to be working with the township to figure out what took place with our business administrator.
Correct. I spoke to Mr. Seidel, who I believe is the director of your Office of Emergency Management, and he explained to me the details. It's actually regarding a site separate, but apart from this, Route 24. And there was indication that there might have been an antenna taken down or perhaps some ground radio equipment. So T-Mobile is the tenant there, and I am in contact with Crown on this matter. So I offered to assist in any way possible in order to facilitate finding out what happened to that equipment and getting it rectified. As I indicated, Mr. Seidel, I can't guarantee it because we're the tenant, we're not the tower owner, but I can certainly reach out to we have contacts at Crown to see if we can get this thing resolved for the town.
Perfect.
I explained we're going to be back before the board again. We're always back before you guys with upgrades. So this is important. So we'll definitely we'll assist any way we can.
Perfect. We appreciate you guys assisting. Any
Sure.
members of the board have any questions or concern?
Nope, not me.
Any members of the public? I'm going to take this opportunity to open this matter up to the public. Any members of the public that wish to speak on this?
Seeing none.
Perfect. So seeing on board, with Mr. Disco's recommendation, Mr. Keynes, are you comfortable with everything outlined?
Yes, sir. I don't have any problem with any of that.
Okay, so with that, I would ask the board entertain a motion for approval of site plan waiver with the condition is that they want us to waive reading, that they're operating on their own risk. If anyone comes and says for them to stop and goes to court, it's not with Springfield's issue.
I'll make a motion to accept the waiver.
Mr. Wishman, I think Mr. Wishman accept second, did he?
Okay.
Mr. Brendel just did. I just did.
Oh, Mr.
But
Brendel.
it's okay.
Better. Okay. Can we have a roll call?
Mr. Lawfer,
Yes.
Brendel,
Yes.
Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
Mr. Barnett,
Yes.
Mr. Wishna,
Yes.
Vice Chair Kessel,
Yes.
and Chairman Tiger.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
One is for Verizon Wireless waiver, 1 Cornell Parkway, 3903 Lot 16, waiver of site plan. Is anyone present for that?
Seeing none.
Seeing none, then I'm going to take this opportunity to carry this to our April 4th meeting for Verizon to come before us at that point in time. Ms. Law, will you please make sure that they are aware of that? We carry this to April 4th and that they are obligated to appear before with council.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So the next thing that's not on the agenda that we wanted to discuss is, things have been getting better with COVID. People's comfort levels are back. They may not be back. What I wanted to try with the board is our next meeting is April 4th. We'll leave status quo alone, but April 18th, it looks like we will have a redevelopment application. It's a little bit bigger to bring the board back. We'll try it. We'll see how it works in person. We'll have to work with the room with the business administrator because I don't know how people's comfort levels are, but 11 people are not going to fit on the dais at any reasonable separation if people aren't comfortable. We'll have to see what that is. So with the boards, I'd like to hear from the board if trying April 18th, since it is going to be a special meeting, we can notice it that way. So we're not changing our thing. We're not changing our May meeting right now. It would be to try for April 18th. So I wanted to see what the board has to comfort level on that. We're all volunteers. I don't want to put anyone to get sick or be worried or be uncomfortable. I want to make sure everyone's on board.
Are you still looking at a 6:30 start?
For April 18th, it'll be a 6:30 start. When we decide to go back, if we decide to go back permanent and we have to go back to 7 with the board, we can, if that's people's work schedules and so forth. we'll have to see that from the board. We used to start 7:30 way back when I first started 15 years ago, and we've slowly moved it up so that way it allows us to finish earlier at night. But if I'm not going to interfere with, Sharon rushing to get home from work or something like that.
Is there any opportunity if people, I mean, I personally have no problem being in person, but if people aren't comfortable, but they still want to participate as a panelist, can the option still exist to have the meeting online? Those that want to hear it and participate.
I think if we had a quorum, we probably would say take the night off if that's the case. If that's the case, because we have a larger board, we have 9 members and 2 alternates. I know the zoning board is working through some considerations because they have a smaller board of 7 board members and they need every member to count. So we can look into that.
My question really is more rooted in the fact that I've found that the professionals that are presenting, particularly on a larger application like the one that we would hear on April 18th, it's a lot easier if they're driving the information electronically versus the boards that tend to be presented as exhibits. And a lot of times when those boards are created, they're having to be done a couple weeks in advance. Whereas if there's a change in a minor change in the plan, they're able to show it live electronically. And that's the thing I've actually found to be more beneficial with doing these meetings online. So if there was any way to incorporate the technology that they can at least present materials electronically, if that were possible, I mean, I think that would be, an opportunity that we didn't have previously.
I actually agree with that a lot. I would love a hybrid option. So I have no problem. I'm not worried health-wise. If I am, I'll wear a mask. I'm going. I love the convenience of being virtual. It also means I don't have to physically be here if I happen to be traveling or I'm away or rushing home to get to a physical place. Like, COVID has taught us that we have the technology now, and one human doesn't physically have to be somewhere to be part of something and be productive. I think Scott is actually right about the exhibits. It's often really hard to see an exhibit on an easel that's on the other side of the room from the far part of the dais, or those huge blueprints that we're constantly all over each other with. So having it right in front of me, being driven by a professional, is very nice. And I personally love just having the convenience to know I could really always make a meeting and not have to worry about my travel schedule. But again, I have no issue on the health side of it. I like everyone. I like to see them in person as well. But if there is a hybrid option available, that gives us the best of both worlds.
So Glenn, can you take that as a takeaway for yours to see if we're legally able to do it? And then we can reach out with Jen and John, Jen, our board secretary, and John, the business administrator, to see if that's possible to do.
Sure.
Yeah.
The state's working on this stuff right now. There's some proposed legislation. I don't know that it's going anywhere. So, but the answer is yes. We'll take a look. We'll get something over to the board with a position on it as to giving you advice. It may, quite frankly, it may come down to in another 3 or 4 months that we are going to be forced to go live. I couldn't agree with those of you who like the hybrid. It just, you can do all kinds of things. Like I'm doing it right now. I got another meeting right behind this, so it's all good.
Yeah.
So does the board want to try it April 18th, or you want to not? We don't have to. I mean,
I personally am happy to be in person on the 18th. I think that's a really great application, and for us to be there in front of it, I'm fine with it if everyone else is. But again, I'm also very happy just to be right here in this seat. I've got my dinner with me. I got a drink. I'm very comfortable.
All right. So
it might be a good idea if we're going to try something to try it on a smaller or less busy meeting to see how it works. So maybe for the 18th, we should do it remotely as we've been doing it and try some kind of combination at the next one. It just may make it easier, less complicated if there's less going on.
I'm in agreement with whatever.
I'll leave it up. There's a reason we elected you chairman, Mr. Tiger. So I'm gonna defer to your decision as chair.
Okay, well, I will consult and we'll get an answer back to the board for now. The only reason I was more adapt, Aaron, for the 18th is if public wants to come, because it is a big application for the township that we may not have any public. I mean, we did the redevelopment with Saks and we had 10 people. We may not have any people, which is fine too. But I wanted it to be more accessible to the public. And then some people may think this is more accessible, being the way we are now. And some people want to come in person. I'd rather be sitting here with like this. So let me give some thought, and then we'll be back to the board because we don't need to. We have plenty of time to change the notice on whichever meeting we decide to do. Good.
Okay.
All right. Then at this time, I'd like to open up to this meeting to the public to anything they wish to discuss with us, any business, anything whatsoever. Apu, is there anyone?
Seeing none.
Okay, well then I'd like to hear a motion to close tonight's meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
All right. Well, thanks everyone.
Thanks, everyone.